Hello, good afternoon, everybody. I, Ramendra Mohandeka, coordinator of IQAC of Rangapara College, welcome you all to this international webinar on fact and fiction, myths and truths and myths of COVID-19. We have amongst us today two prominent personalities. One is Dr. Saru Sahuria Nath, retired principal of Tezpur College. She is an eminent educationist of the state, and at the same time she is also the president of Ahom Lekhika Khomaru. We have amongst us Dr. Ritu Kumar Mishra. He is an international civil servant in the UNO. We are very fortunate that we have such a person today amongst us as the cardinal speaker of this webinar. I welcome him, and I would like to say a few lines on him. Dr. Mishra was born in Tawang of Arunachal Pradesh, but his schooling was in Udalguri district of Assam. He did his graduation from Tezpur College. So both Dr. Ranjan Kolita, principal of Rangapara College, and Dr. Saru Sahuria Nath, ma'am, they were his teacher. Dr. Mishra did his graduation from Tezpur College, and then he went to Delhi, and from Delhi University he obtained his post-graduation degree, and from Jawaharlal Nehru University of Delhi he obtained his MPhil and PhD degree, and then he joined UNO as an international civil servant. He has served in 5 different countries of the world, and at present he is serving in Africa. Dr. Mishra has published a number of articles in national and international journals, and he was awarded the prestigious award by several prestigious awards, and amongst them the award which was given him by Melbourne University in Australia is like a crown in his head. So I welcome you all to this webinar, and I have a few requests to you that during the webinar, when the speakers are deliberating their lectures, please do not unmute your device. That is our request. And just after the finishing of the speech by Dr. Mishra, we will have 15 minutes time of interaction, and after that you will get the feedback form, and within 15 minutes you will have to fill in that feedback form to get your certificate. So besides, one more request is to all the participants that our college is situated in a very remote area where the net connectivity is not that good. So if any technical difficulties arises, please excuse us. So let us go to the main webinar. And first of all, I request Dr. Ranjan Kolita, Principal of Rangapara College and Chairperson of the IQAC of Rangapara College, to welcome the guests and the participants to this webinar. Over to Dr. Kolita.
Thank you. Thank you. Am I audible? I think. Okay.
Yes, you are audible. We're listening to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Anandra Mohan Deka.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. The co-inter of IQAC, Rangapara College. Good morning, Dr. Ritu Kumar Mishra, and good afternoon to other dignitaries. Honorable Inaugurator, Dr. Saru Sohoria Nath Baidu, the ex-principal of Tezpur College, and President, Hodo Hom Lekika Homaru Committee, and also member of governing body of Rangapara College. Dr. Ritu Kumar Mishra, the International Civil Servant of UNO, Dr. Ranendra Mohan Deka, the co-inter of IQAC, Rangapara College, respected participants, my colleagues, and my dear research scholars and students participants. At first, I warmly welcome all of you to this webinar. Rangapara College is running with two streams, that is arts and commerce. The college is affiliated to Gauhati University and also enlisted under section 2F and 12B of UGC Act. From this year, we are going to start postgraduate class in Hindi also. Already we have got necessary permission for opening of postgraduate class in Hindi from the Gauhati University. This is our first international webinar, which is organized by the IQAC of Rangapara College on fact and fiction, myths and truths about COVID-19. All of you aware that every day the COVID-19 seems to reach a new and tragic milestone. Till today, total numbers of 1,72,95,538 cases have been confirmed as affected with COVID-19. And 3,73,171 people have lost their lives in the world. In India, more than 5,45,000 cases have been confirmed as affected with COVID-19, and more than 35,000 people have lost their lives. In Assam, more than 38,000 cases have now been confirmed as affected with COVID-19, and more than 94 people have lost their lives. Every public emergency sets huge numbers of rumors. With a pandemic like COVID-19, about which little or nothing is known, there are all kinds of misinformation are floating around the society and malicious postings on social media. Every day, we receive many myths or fictions or misinformations about COVID-19. In the month of March, when lockdown was implemented in India, there was a rumor that is sunlight can kill the coronavirus. We thought in the month of June, July, the COVID-19 will be totally stopped in Assam. But what is happening right now? Now, summer is going on in Assam. Today, it is proved that sunlight does not prevent us from coronavirus. That means it is not a truth or reality. Not only this one, there are many misinformation are aired within the society. Some other fictions like garlic, ginger, honey, alcohol can prevent the novel coronavirus. But is it true? Today, our resource person, Dr. Ritu Kumar Mishra, will discuss about the fact and fiction, myths and truths about COVID-19. I wish the webinar will be successful and we can be able to separate the fact and reality from the fiction and myth about coronavirus. আৰু মই দুআষাৰমান কথা অসমীয়াত ক'ব বিচাৰিছো। নতুন শিক্ষানীতিয়ে আমাৰ ভাৰতীয় ভাষাসমূহক বিশেষ গুৰুত্ব দিছে। এতিয়া আমাৰ ভাষাসমূহ এটা সুকীয়া ফেকাল্টিত পৰিণত হ'ব। আৰু আমাৰ ইয়াত যেহেতু যথেষ্ট ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰী আছে, মই ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীসকলক যদি ইংৰাজীত অসুবিধা পায় অসমীয়াটো প্ৰশ্ন কৰিবৰ কাৰণে অনুৰোধ জনাইছো। তেওঁলোকে অসমীয়াটো প্ৰশ্ন কৰিব পাৰিব। আৰু এই মাত্ৰ মই মোৰ বক্তব্য ৰাখি থাকোঁতেই এটা খবৰ আহিল চৰকাৰৰ ঘৰৰ পৰা। ৰঙাপৰা কলেজ আমাৰ দুটা ষ্ট্ৰীম আছিল, আৰ্টছ আৰু কমাৰ্চ। আজি চৰকাৰৰ এখন অধিসূচনা বাহিৰ হৈছে য'ত ৰঙাপৰা কলেজ আৰু কেইখনমান কলেজত বিজ্ঞান শাখা অসম চৰকাৰে প্ৰাদেশিকৃত ঘোষণা কৰিছে। গতিকে আজিৰ এই এটা গুৰুত্বপূৰ্ণ দিনত আৰু এই গুৰুত্বপূৰ্ণ মুহূৰ্তত এই খবৰটো পাই মই বৰ আনন্দিত হৈছো। আৰু এই বছৰ আমি COVID-19ৰ কাৰণে বিজ্ঞান শাখা হয়তো মুকলি কৰিব নোৱাৰিম। অহা বৰ্ষৰ পৰা আমি বিজ্ঞান শাখা নিশ্চয় মুকলি কৰিব পাৰিম। With this few words, I again welcome all of you to this international webinar. Thank you. Now, microphone is over to Dr. Ranendra Mohan Deka. Thank you.
Thank you, Principal Sir. Our next agenda is inaugural speech by Dr. Saru Sohriya Nath. All of we know that Dr. Saru Sohriya Nath is an eminent educationist of the state. She is a prominent writer, and at present she is the president of Assam Lekhika Samaroh Committee. So we are very fortunate that she is among us today. Now I request Ma'am Saru Sohriya Nath to deliver her inaugural speech.
Namaskar. Good evening to everybody. Respected Principal Rangapara College, respected resource person Dr. Ritu Kumar Mishra, IQAC coordinator of Rangapara College, Dr. Ranendra Mohan Deka, and all the participants, professor participants and students participants of this webinar, and esteemed guests and office staff of Rangapara College. It is my pleasure that I have been invited in this auspicious occasion of Rangapara College today, and I am very much grateful to Dr. Ranjan Kolita, Principal, and IQAC Coordinator Dr. Ranendra Mohan Deka for inviting me to inaugurate this session. I am also grateful to the students and teachers of this college. Today, Rangapara College has done a very great job by organizing international webinar in their college. As a member of governing body, I feel proud that I have been invited as an inaugurator of this session, of this webinar. I also feel proud that today's resource person, Dr. Ritu Kumar Mishra, already Ranendra Mohan Deka has said that he was my student and Dr. Ranjan Kolita was his teacher. During 1990 to 1993, in this period, Dr. Ritu Kumar Mishra was a student of Tezpur College. He was my direct student. He has geography honors in our department, and I feel also proud that he has secured topper position in geography honors from Guwahati University in that period. Dr. Ritu Kumar Mishra did MA from Delhi University, and he was qualified PhD and MPhil from JNU, Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi. Ritu Kumar Mishra, now all of you know, and we are proud of him that now he is an international civil servant and he is now in Africa. He's doing his service in Africa, and he has told me, Madam, I am very much related with COVID-19, and I used to deliver lecture in this topic. Regarding this arrangement of webinar, I have discussed with him at that time, and he has told me I am interested with COVID-19, and Rangapara College has done a great job by inviting him to deliver lecture on this topic. We know that COVID-19 is now a serious problem all over the world. It was originated in Wuhan state of China, and it is spread all over the world. Already, Dr. Ranjan Kolita has told that more than 72 lakhs people was already they are involved in COVID-19, and more than 2 lakhs already died in COVID-19. So this is a serious problem. And in our state also, we are suffering from this problem, and lockdown also, we are availing lockdown in our state and in our country also. In this serious problem, Dr. Ritu Kumar Mishra wants to deliver lecture on this topic. So we welcome him to deliver his lecture on this topic. I also proud, I feel always proud of Rangapara College, that Rangapara College has done many things. Today is a good news for us that they have got the permission from Government of Assam, Director of Higher Education, to introduce science stream. Already they have arts and commerce stream. So there will be 3 streams in Rangapara College. I congratulate principal and all the members and authority for this very prestigious job. Ritu Kumar Mishra, already Ranendra Kumar Deka has told that he has awarded Australian Leadership Award from Melbourne University. He has published many research papers in national and international journals, peer-reviewed journals already. He has established him as a research scholar and research as a resource person of the geography and demography. He has done his PhD and MPhil in demography, population studies. His interest is always in population studies, and so he is now international civil servant in UNO. I feel proud and I always happy. We the teachers are always happy with Ritu Kumar Mishra. May God bless him. With these few words, I convey my gratefulness and thanks to the authority of an I2SC cell of Rangapara College for giving me chance to inaugurate this session. And with these few words, I inaugurate the webinar. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Your hand of blessings are always upon Rangapara College, and in future also we hope that your blessings will be there for Rangapara College. We are very much thankful that you give your time and inaugurate this session of the international webinar. Now I request today our cardinal speaker, Dr. Ritu Kumar Mishra, to enlighten us with his experiences of COVID-19, and I request him to deliver his speech. Dr. Ritu Kumar Mishra.
Thank you so much for the nice words from me. By definitely, I mean, the teachers like their students, so I am thankful to Ranjan sir and Saru ma'am. And congratulations, Rangapara College, for opening up the new streams. Really good news for expansion of your college. We are actually, I don't know how many of you know that WHO, IMF, World Bank, UN, these are all UN organizations. We call it umbrella organization. So we are very much part of all the plannings, what needs to be done across the world, because we have been facing, a problem. It's not only the developed nations, but the developing nations across the world. And, one of the most challenging things that we have been struggling with as a UN employee is that people don't know what is myth, what is truth, what is fact, what is fiction. So this has been a challenge. Not only in India, I think you might have read the news from Hyderabad today morning. So 9 people died after consuming sanitizer. So many people are so afraid that they started consuming alcohol, consuming sanitizer. So they don't know that at least 70% of alcohol is required in sanitizer. Even in sanitizer, 70% is required to kill the virus. So there are some basic things which people don't know. Some people say that if you drink hot water, as Ranjan sir had mentioned. So my basic objective of this presentation is to make clear that what are the facts, what are the fictions, prevailing fictions. And just a request to all of you not to circulate any news without verifying. We have websites. Just go to WHO site for any news. You will get information. So after that, you should circulate. So usually what is happening with social media, as soon as people receive something in Twitter, in Facebook, in WhatsApp, we immediately forward. That should not be done. With these few words, thank you very much for inviting me for this talk. I have a small presentation for all of you. I'll be going with the presentation. So if you don't see this slide, I'll read out the headings also when I go to that particular slide. If you face any problem, let me know, please. So I'm going to share you the presentation. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah, I hope you can see the screen. Can you see the presentation? I think not yet. Dr. Deka, can you see the presentation? Hello, Dr. Deka?
Excuse me, sir. It is not visible, sir.
Okay.
Not visible. It's not seen.
You can't see? Hello? Hello, Dr. Deka?
No, it is not visible till now.
Oh, surprising. So let me share it again. Is it visible now?
Yes, yes. Now it is visible. Yes.
Okay, that's great. Just give me 1 second to enlarge the screen. Yeah, it's full screen. So I'm starting, this presentation, the layout is like this: origin of coronavirus, characteristics of the coronavirus, vaccines and treatments. Definitely all of you want to know what is happening at present. Since we have the first-hand information, so I'd like to, brief you on the possibilities of vaccine from different countries and organizations, and myth busters, where I'll be speaking definitely about the fact and fictions prevailing in different societies. So I would like to request Dr. Deka, if you don't see or if you don't hear properly, then please let me know. So let's talk about coronavirus. As Saru ma'am has mentioned that, it originated in Wuhan. Definitely it's in Hunan market, everybody knows, where more than 200 different type of bush meat is available. And there is a common saying that anything which moves, Chinese can eat. I mean, that's also to some extent it's fact. So what is coronavirus? Coronavirus is a large family of viruses which may cause illness in animals and human beings. So even in chickens, in pigs, in different animals. So at present, this coronavirus is a combination of 37% of a strain from bat and 3% of a strain from pangolin. Actually, bats are half of, viruses. I mean, there are many viruses in bats. So pangolin is the intermediary host between bats and humans. So the virus jumped from bat to pangolin and from pangolin to human being. And pangolin is the most illegally traded mammals in the world because of its price for its meat and claim medical properties of their skulls. Usually they fry these skulls and eat. That's why. So let's talk about the history of coronavirus. Definitely it's zoonotics because it came from animal. So the coronavirus first outbreak took place in 2002 to 2004. That also originated in China. The fatality rate was very high, but luckily, only few people died. Only 774 people died. What happens when the mutation process takes place? I mean, when the virus jumps from one person to another person, the potency of the virus automatically decreases. So what happened in case of the first coronavirus, that is in 2002, when it started jumping from body to body, automatically its potency decreased, and over a period of time, it automatically disappeared from the world. And there was no vaccine for this also, because it lived only for short periods of time. The second one is called MERS. That is also COVID virus. It's called because it started in the Middle East. It started in 2012, again in 2015, again in 2018. It was also highly infectious, but not as infectious as this coronavirus COVID-2, what we call. But the fatality rate, I mean, death rate was very high. It was 37%. And COVID-2, I mean, you know more or less what is happening. The number of people, as Ranjan sir has mentioned, Sir Ma'am has mentioned, it's almost 676,000 people have died. Almost every day, 6,000 to 7,000 people across the world is dying. So we are still not in peak in India. So we are maybe in 3 to 4 months we will be in peak. So here I have mapped out how it transmitted from the bat. As I have mentioned, bat is host of diverse range of coronaviruses. From bat, in case of MERS, it's called Middle East, respiratory syndrome. So in case of MERS, which originated in the Gulf countries, so it the virus jumped from bat to camel, and from camel to human being. So in case of SARS-1, the first COVID, which originated in 2002, as I mentioned, which originated again in China, that is, the virus jumped from bat to civet. Civet is a wild cat, kind of a wild cat, and again transmitted to human being. And this time, even people were actually arguing initially that whether it's from a snake, from pangolin, or from bat. So finally, it was established that 37% of is strain from bat and 3% is from pangolin. So that's how it jumped from bat to pangolin to human being. Let's talk about the sign and symptoms of COVID. Again, I mean, different people say different things, but the fever is the most common one. Recently, we have been following up with loss of smell as well. Initially, it was like loss of smell as well as taste. When you lose your smell, as well as the taste, then you should feel that, okay, you are suffering from COVID. So it's like 50 to 60% at present. Loss of appetite, definitely. Fatigue, shortness of breath, cough, and coughing with sputum also. It's not only dry cough. Some people also, cough with sputum, and muscle ache and pain. So in severe case, definitely difficulty walking, confusion, blurrish face or lips, coughing up blood, persistent chest pain, decreased white blood cells, kidney failure, and high fever. So it's not, the severity of, the best thing is that the severity of the disease is not much, not high as the MERS. It was, the fatality rate is like around 3 to 6%. Across the world, if you see, it's 6% at present. So the probability of death increases with age. These are the data from 4 countries, from China, South Korea, Spain, Italy. All the data is available. You can do your analysis and you can see what type of people are dying. It's basically, even in Italy, all these 4 countries, old people died, mostly 60 plus. Even for 60 plus, the chance is less. But when somebody is 80 plus, the chance is high. So from 0 to 9, if you see these, age categories, then you will understand that the probability of death increases with age. And most of the people dying in the world are the old age people. So the same thing is represented, this is overall world, 2.3% of all cases dying, 5% becomes critical, 14% to 15% actually, it's severe cases. And, out of this, I mean, the best thing is that almost 80 to 81% mild cases. I mean, even some people don't face any symptoms. I know some people suffering, infected for last 10 to 15 days a year in Africa, and they are still not. So India's COVID-19 cases fatality rate as on July, sorry, it was even as of now also it's less than 3%. That's but highest in Asia. So that's the best thing. So again, people are very worried. That's why I presented this in a different way. You can see how it increases, the risk of dying increases with age. Under 9 years old, it's just 0%, 10 to 39 years old, So the probability increases as your age increases because the capacity of lung decreases, lung as well as, and then we suffer from other complications. If a child is dying or even young people dying, I have been following the news that what type of, what age groups are dying. So definitely some people say that there was no illness, there is no sickness to the person, but definitely there is an underlying cause for his or her death. Because usually in developing country like India, we never go for a whole body checkup. So people don't know from which disease he or she is suffering. So annual checkup is almost nil. People don't have health-seeking behavior. It's not only behavior, but capacity also. For example, in terms of India, in terms of if you see the Human Development Index, India is 129 out of almost 200 countries. So you know where we stand. I mean, in terms of income, in terms of education, in terms of health. So if you see the fatality between male and female, the fatality rate is higher for men, 2.8%. For female, it's 1.7%. But interestingly, we have been talking about different strains. As on date, we have 6 different types of strain of coronavirus, and some of them are really fatal. For example, in Belgium, the fatality rate was 16.3%, UK 15%. So if you see these European countries mostly, the fatality rate was very high. Even in Brazil and Mexico, in Latin America, it's very high. But we are fortunate that it's still less than 3% in India. So maybe the strain available in India is not as fatal, as potent as other countries. So let me talk about the characteristics of the virus. So that it's like, I'm not going into the science in detail, but why it is highly infectious because of these things. I mean, if you see these spikes, kind of things which pinch in the skin, actually it just goes in the skin, in the cloths, and it sticks. And that's why it's very, very highly infectious. So it doesn't easily fall from the skin. That's the cause. So now let's talk how long the coronavirus can survive outside body. It has been controversial because, it was highly infectious. So many people, doctors also died, scientists also died because they got infected. So finally, it came to a conclusion that it can survive from 2 hours to 9 days, depending on surface, temperature, humidity, and specific strain of virus. And that's why, even after sanitizer everywhere in Europe, people are still getting infected. So it can survive 72 hours on plastic and stainless steel. So plastic is definitely dangerous because when we go for shopping in outside, then we bring things in plastic. So earlier it was, people thought that if you keep this plastic bag outside the house or even in a corner of the house for 24 hours, the virus will die. But that's not the case. Less than 4 hours on copper. So copper, is highly known for antibacterial and antiviral properties. So many people also drink water by keeping in copper pots. So less than 24 hours on cardboards. So COVID-19 is airborne. Recently, I think maybe 15 days back, WHO declared that it can survive in air up to 10 minutes. That's why going inside the shopping mall without a mask can be very dangerous. So I'd like to, clarify one thing here, that the virus can enter our body only through 3 mediums: eyes, nose, and mouth. So if we don't touch our face with our hand, and in that case, the probability of infecting ourselves is less. So we should not touch our face without washing our hand whenever we go outside. Even whenever we are inside, suppose some some other visitors have come. So we should wash our hand properly with soap. The soap detergent can kill the virus easily. One of the most infected places across the world is the intensive care unit, because all these serious patients are going to the intensive care units. So try to maintain your health and don't think of going to intensive care unit for other ailments at this time. So then other places, contaminated places, are definitely desktop and keyboards, which are being shared by different people. Doorknobs, because in doorknobs people just go and touch the doorknobs and again they touch their face. Hand sanitizer dispenser. So I'm sure that across the world, wherever you enter, whether it's shopping mall or any public place, the hand sanitizer dispensers are there outside. But now when people came to know that, okay, people are also getting infected, because when they press the hand sanitizer, the virus is there in their hand. So now the hand sanitizer with this, you just press with your leg and the sanitizer will come, rub your hand. That's what people are doing now. Okay, let's come to the vaccine and treatment section. Yeah, in terms of vaccine, I know that the Indian government has been claiming different things. So, what happens in terms of clinical trial when we do our research? Those people who are involved in RCT, that is randomized controlled trial, they will understand how the process takes place. It's not very easy process. Okay, the process takes place in 4 stages. 4 stages on human being, 1 stage on animal. So when anybody develops a particular vaccine, they try with animal. If the animal survive, then they try with few human beings. In the first stage, there are 4 stages: phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. So these are the list of possible vaccines in future from different countries and different agencies. The Oxford University, they are in University of Oxford is in very advanced stage. They already published their findings of the phase 3, and which are very promising. We were going through the paper a few days back. They have started the phase 4. Phase 4 is the final phase, okay? So if they come up without any problem, then this will be rolled out. This will definitely go to WHO for approval, and once WHO approves, this will go to across the world. So I have, made these round things with red circles. So all these vaccines are from China. It's interesting. China is doing well. Even in terms of coming up with vaccines. So at present in Bangladesh and Brazil, they are doing large-scale clinical trials. So in clinical trials, you need 2 sets of population having same characteristics, particularly in terms of medical history. Suppose, they want to try vaccines on me, I am infected, then they also need another person without infection, so that they can see and compare the outcome. And it's not one person, so they need a huge population so that it becomes statistically significant. When, the results are statistically significant, only in that case, we can say that, okay, this is approved, this is really the finding. So I'll also explain about the plasma theory, which is being trialed in different Indian states and also in some other countries in large scale. So you can see that 4 vaccines are from China, 4 vaccines are from USA, and definitely 1 vaccine is from Bharat Biotech, Covaxin, but that's still in phase 1. I think yesterday or day before yesterday, I heard that they successfully completed the phase 1. So even if the vaccines comes, it may come from either Oxford or America or maybe China. So let's see what happens. So Dr. Deka, you are with me, is it? Hello? I just want to cross-check.
Yes.
Hello, Dr. Deka. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So the next is on vaccines and treatments of, So when the vaccines comes, I know that WHO has been telling that it may take at least 1 year. In addition to those advanced stages of the vaccines that I have mentioned in the earlier slide, there are almost 150 ongoing clinical trials. Almost all countries are trying. This is for the first time in the world history. Something has affected like this, and all scientists, all doctors are struggling. So pharmaceutical prophylaxis and treatment. So there are different medicines which people think may work. You know about the hydrochloroquine. I mean, so basically the medicine for malaria. So what WHO is doing, in addition to these clinical trials, they are also doing a trial called WHO Solidarity Trial. And this is a very large-scale trial. In the next slide, I will explain what is happening. So recently, European Medical Association has published recommendations on use of antiretroviral agent called remdesivir. And I am sure that you know about the Glenmark. I mean, in India, they're approved with producing this remdesivir. So preliminary results showed that remdesivir was associated with shorter median recovery time compared to placebo. Placebo means you don't give any medicine, as I explained. So in these clinical trials, you give actual medicine to one person and you don't give any medicine. You give a placebo, I mean, fact medicine to the other person, and you want to see the effect. So even the 14 days mortality rate was 7.1% in the group of patients, that is called intervention group, that received remdesivir, and 11.9% in the placebo group. That means more people died in placebo, I mean, without intervention, without giving these medicines. But the difference was not statistically significant. As I said, the number of sample size has to be large enough to be statistically significant. So still we can't say that remdesivir works, but still this is approved and recommended in emergency case in US, India, Singapore, UK, and Japan. And I know, I mean, those who are involved in the stock market, they will understand that how Glenmark, jumped their stocks almost 40% in a single day. So let me explain about the solidarity clinical trial for COVID-19 treatment. So they are trying with 4 drugs. It's basically a combination of 4 drugs. Almost 21 countries involved. Already 5,500 patients registered. Now I am sure this is like almost 3-4 days back I collected this data. And I'm sure that more than, and also, more than 100 countries have shown interest. So they will be participating in this trial. So it's not easy actually. When people think that, what UN is doing, what WHO is doing, it's not like a one-day process. You need to ship these medicines. Everything is locked down now. You need to take clearance for the flights, for the cargo flights. You need to ship these approvals. You need to send trainers for doctors, how to, administer these drugs. There are lots of complications. You need to take ethical clearance. You need to take consent from the patients. You need to gather so many patients, need to explain them. So these are actually very complicated process. Those who are involved, they will understand the complexities. So on hydroxychloroquine, already I have explained that please don't take. If you suffer, don't take this medicine. There is no, if this medicine is like, can't do anything in case of coronavirus. Also, lopinavir and ritonavir, these are actually given to the HIV positive patients. These are very powerful drugs. When you take, even your health condition will deteriorate more. Let's come to plasma theory. I'm sure that most of you are interested in knowing the efficacy of plasma theory. Plasma is liquid portion of blood that remains when all red and white blood cells and platelets. So when you isolate, red blood cells and white blood cells and platelets, then the plasma is left. So you need to insert at least half liter of plasma from an infected persons who recovered from COVID and developed his immune systems, and you insert that plasma in an infected person, with the assumption that the plasma will build the same, resistance to COVID in that particular person. So the challenge is that in plasma theory, if you don't test for all the possible infections in the blood, because usually that is not being done in health facilities, they test for some major kind of disease like HIV and but they don't usually test. My information is there, I think they test usually for 10 to 15 kind of different bloodborne diseases, not for all diseases. So there is a high possibility that if the person is infected, then you get infected with the same plasma. So plasma treatment is also tested in case of Ebola. I'm sure that you know about the Congo, particularly infected with Ebola in Central African countries. You know, Ebola is also very highly infectious, but you have to touch the body of the persons. Otherwise, it's not airborne and it can't go to different places. So it remains with the body. So when you touch the infected person, then you get infected. So several cases reports shows promising results, but again, large-scale randomized trial were not performed. So when the small sample size is small, you can't say whether it worked or not worked. So worldwide, there are over 60 clinical trials actively recruiting COVID-19 patients for study to the effect of plasma. So still, as of now, we don't know whether this works or not. So again, I have mentioned that serious risks of transmitting bloodborne infections. So let's come to the myths busters. These are the myths and facts and fictions, about coronavirus. So many people, they say that if you can hold your breath for 10 seconds or more without coughing or feeling discomfort, then you don't have coronavirus. That's wrong. That's a myth. The fact is different. So holding 10 seconds, even the holding breaths, the capacity of different people are different. So there is no link of coronavirus. So a mask while exercising. Some people I have seen while running, while doing exercise, they wear masks. You should not wear mask while exercising because the mask will get wet and you will face discomfort. And if you have any question related to mask, please go to www.who.com and just look for, there are videos how to wear masks properly and the efficacy of a different mask like a cloth mask and series mask. There are different masks, for surgical masks. So you need to know how to use the mask and what is the efficacy of the mask. Drinking alcohol does not protect you against COVID-19. So many people thought that alcohol, if they drink, for example, the content of alcohol in different, for example, in beer, it's around 4 to 6%, varies from different countries to countries. It varies from 3 to 6% usually. In wine also you get around 4 to 5% alcohol, and maybe in whiskey, rum, in these you can get around 16-17%, but 16-17% won't go, and definitely it can't go and kill inside your body. And so people, even this will further deteriorate your body actually if you take alcohol in this time. So alcohol is not a substitution. People have reported, we got report from different countries that many people drink sanitizer also. Even very surprisingly, the funny president of America, Trump, also said that maybe we should instruct people, I don't know how many of you follow him in Twitter. Sometimes he gives really funny statements. He said that maybe we have to treat coronavirus by drinking alcohol. Because as on date, US is one of the most affected country in the world. So if you see the epicenter of coronavirus, then you will understand that it moved from China to Europe, particularly Italy, France, Germany, Netherlands, Belgium. Then it moved, the epicenter moved from Europe to America, particularly USA, Northern America. In USA, it's still continuing. The infection is still increasing. The people are still dying, almost 1,500 people per day. And then from North America, it moved to Latin America, where it started already. The peak has not yet come, but still people are dying, like almost 1,500 people, 1,600 people per day in Brazil, and almost 1,000 people per day in Mexico, also Paraguay, also other countries, depending on the population size. So from there, it will move to, it's already moved, definitely. So, but it's still not the epicenter. So epicenter will be Indian subcontinent, including Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, all these countries. So maybe we are expecting in coming 3 months we'll face the peak. So the infection is almost like 50,000 plus every day now, and the death rate is around 700, 800 people per day. So maybe in 3 months' time, the condition will be very pathetic in India. So, but please don't drink and use sanitizer. Sanitizer is for hand, not for other things. So adding pepper, for example, many people think that if they put pepper in soup, they will be cured of coronavirus. That's not a fact. That's a myth. Eating garlic. Interestingly, when this COVID started, I think almost 2 months back, somebody circulated that it's associated with, if you take garlic, then you won't get infected. Usually in African countries, they don't use garlic, turmeric much. It's like only in India we use in a large, to a large extent. So there was no garlic, there was no turmeric in the shopping malls. Usually it's full of garlic and turmeric. So, because of the misinformation. So people circulate things in WhatsApp, in Twitter, in Facebook, the unverified information, and that's how it works for common people. So exposing yourself to the high temperature, as Ranjan sir has mentioned in his speech, that many people think differently. So initially people thought that, okay, the temperature is in India is high. So since the temperature is low in European countries and Northern America, that's why people are dying. But that's not the fact. So this virus is known as thermoliable. I don't know, how many of you know this terminology. That means below 70 degrees centigrade, this virus can survive. So there is no point of standing in sun. Usually the virus die, when the temperature is high, but not in case of this virus. So coming to the antibiotic, use of antibiotic for treating COVID. So antibiotic is for bacterial infection, not for viral infection. So many people think that if they take antibiotic, even without prescription also, I have seen people, purchasing antibiotics, and they think that they will be cured of coronavirus, but that's not the fact. So, but sometimes doctors give antibiotics. So when doctor is prescribing, that definitely you should not argue, because you may have some co-infections. To treat the co-infections, maybe doctor can prescribe, but it's always wise to know why he is prescribing. So can mask lower oxygen level? Use of mask. So many people feel when you put a mask, you feel very uncomfortable because we are not habituated of using the mask. We keep on touching the front portion, like lowering up to nose, again lifting it like this. So the entire essence of putting the mask, if you touch the front portion of the mask, is gone. That's why I always request people to do. Yeah. So you should not, even before using the mask, you should wash your hand with sanitizer or with soap or hand wash, so that the infection is not there. And you should put always. When you remove, you should put the string from here and remove. And you should throw after using once. If it is cloth mask, then you should wash it after every use. Every day you should wash the face mask. And interestingly, there is oximeter, which is very cheap. You can purchase from the shops across all the pharmaceuticals, and you can see after putting the mask, you can see oxygen level in your body. So you just put in finger and you can see. So it doesn't lower. So this is the doctor in the right hand side. I have shown that it's 98, 99% oxygen level in her body. So she was the first one actually who said that if you put mask, it doesn't affect in supplying oxygen. So for a smoker, it's not a good news. So smoking definitely affects the lung. Whether it's tobacco, smoking, or maybe smokeless tobacco like sadha in India, because you come into you are touching your hand and you are chewing it. As I mentioned earlier, that this is a pulmonary disease, so it affects mostly lungs. So those people who smokes, for them it's not a good news, and they need to leave smoking as soon as possible, because smoker are the people who are dying to a large extent. So many people have left. I know that smoking across the globe. Okay, that's my last slide. On the conclusion, I'll explain how the economy is affected across the world. These are some of the projections from different UN organizations like IMF, International Monetary Fund, UNDESA is United Nations Department for Economic and Social Affairs, and WTO, World Trade Organization, and Oxford Economics. So, if you see Oxford Economics is, not from UN, but still I put it here. So, if you see this graph, the line graph from 2000 till 2024, it's like till 2020, it's projected, then you will see that till 2008, there was no dip actually. It was not minus. So only in 2008 to 10, I am sure that you know about the global recession, economic recessions, when it went in minus and it affected, but immediately it recovered. Within a year, it recovered. Almost all countries affected by this one, this global economic recession, but immediately they recovered. But at present, it's very difficult even for the organizations to predict the GDP growth rate. It's definitely in minus, The worst scenario is given by, so there are two projections by each organization. One is optimistic, assuming that immediately the vaccines will come and, the coronavirus will be over from the world. And the other is pessimistic. So the worst scenario is by WTO, World Trade Organization, that is minus 8.8%. And still people don't know, when it will be peak, whether we are still in peak or not. It's very controversial. Few days back, USA thought that they are in the peak and they, things will improve shortly, but it's not the case. Even the death rate, infection rates, everything is increasing day by day. So in the conclusion, I have already shown that, it will go maybe a minus. If you think that the worst scenario takes place minus 8%, that means it will go above 10%, because usually the GDP growth rate across the world is like 3 to 4%. For India, it's around 5 to 6%. But for the first time, it will go in negative and very highly negative, which will increase the poverty ratio across the world. So HDI, I already mentioned. HDI is a composite index. So we started this, UN started this actually in 1990s to see where, in terms of development, where the country stands. So as I mentioned that we have like 196 countries which are like member of the United Nations, and we also have some small territories. We have like it's controversial actually, which are not member of the UN. So HDI, Human Development Index, is a composite index, which is consists of health indicators, education indicators, and income indicators. In 2019, India's rank was 129. So, don't listen to the politicians who say that we are performing well, we may be the world leader in economics. Those are, not fact, okay? So politicians are definitely, they have different perspectives. So it's like, in terms of HDI, for the first time after 1990s, in 3 decades, this will be declined. So reduction in the global carbon dioxide emission. So that's a good news for everybody. You might have seen in the social medias, people giving, post-COVID scenario, pre-COVID scenario, how it was and what it became like post-COVID. That's a good thing for cities like highly polluted cities like, Delhi, which is very, the pollution level is very high. So export-oriented industrialization may be less viable because people are closing their borders. In a press briefing by WHO 2 days back, they said that closing the borders and closing the international flights is not the solution. So they have requested the countries to open the borders and international flights, but this is very challenging and depends upon the country to country. I mean, I think it's like almost all countries are infected. So whether you open the borders or close your borders won't make much sense. So at present, I think New Zealand is the single country without any infection, without a single case of COVID in the country. So they are managing really well. I mean, and they are not allowing, international flights. So they're only allowing their citizens coming back from different countries. But again, they keep for, 20 days in quarantine in hotels, which the person needs to bear actually, which is very high, almost $2,000. So digitalization and digitization has increased across the world. We are meeting this way definitely because of COVID. I never thought that, we'll be interacting in this way. So digitalization and digitization, I mean, most of you know this. These are the processes actually. Our world is becoming more and more digital. Even the currency, in future, we don't expect that the physical currency will be there across the world, and there will be only one currency that is called cryptocurrency. Crypto means hidden currency, it's called virtual currency. For example, when we used to write letters in our college days, we never expected that there will be a day when there will be no use of these physical letters or greetings cards. At present, nobody writes a physical letter, so we always write emails, and it's like within seconds you can send an email to US or across the world, wherever you want. So digitalization and digitization is increasing. Zoom, Google Meet, or whatever you say, Skype, everything has increased from 200 to 500%. They are really doing well, including these companies, including the pharmaceuticals, including the chemicals factories. They are doing well. So I have actually lots of presentations on these, which industries are performing good at present. Pharmaceutical definitely the best, including these, websites. Education became online, increasing the disparity among rich and poor. So definitely education is always like only for rich. I mean, it's meant for rich. Only exceptionally students from poor families can rise up and go for higher studies, which is very expensive. So it's increasing the disparity because students, the kids from the government school, are not having a smartphone or tab or laptop, they can't afford going online. And also the online, I mean, many people, in villages, even the private schools, they are not doing anything online. So that will definitely create a gap between the rich, haves and haves not. So for the first time, almost all people have started thinking about their immunity level. So people never knew, how to increase the immune system. So here I'd like to mention, because many people they have asked me about how to increase the immunity level. Definitely good food and exercise helps this. In terms of vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc, these are the three things which increases your immune system. So you can Google, you can read about this supplement, about vitamin C supplement, vitamin D supplements, and zinc supplements. So only these three vitamins out of all vitamins helps in increasing, boosting your immune systems. So definitely people have started consuming more and more vitamin C. Even if you take common lemon, on regular basis, you don't need to take the tablets. So yoga, walking, running, and exercise has increased across the globe. So people, as I said, people have become more conscious about their health. So yoga, which originated in India, is everywhere now. Even in African countries, it's online yoga is there. So people participate on specific times. So these are the good signs. Actually, this slide is a combination of good and bad things. For the first time, almost all people have started thinking about, immunity, I already explained. People across the world, irrespective of religion, started believing in science. So even from the Makkah to, our famous temples in India and famous churches in the US, all are closed. So people, instead of believing in a religion, people have started and waiting for science for rescue actually from the present scenario. So for the first time, all the religious places, irrespective of religion, are locked down. So the most affected population, if you see, then it's gender-based violence has increased to a large extent because husbands are in their house, which is not usually the case, particularly in developing countries. Children are affected because of their education. They can't move out, even they can't play outside. Sick people, definitely they are the most vulnerable group of population. The possibility of dying is very high with them, particularly if you have any problem with your lung, with your heart, with your with diabetes, with those people who are infected with this, having comorbidity actually is very high risk. They need to be extra serious. Old population affected, definitely. Some people initially, we thought that maybe it's in Europe people are dying because if you see the average age of European population, then you will find that it's around 40 plus. Okay, the average age is. I'm sure that all are from education background and you know what is average age. So India's average age is around 27. So initially we thought maybe in India people are not dying, in Europe lots of people died because of the age, but it's not the age, because if you compare the average age of Mexico and particularly the Latin American countries, Brazil, then you will see that the average age of population in Latin America is also same like India. So, it's not the age which kills people. Definitely, by the way, old people are in higher risk. Old people are dying across world, irrespective. So, as WHO was saying, that we might have to live with COVID. As of now, we don't have a single treatment across the world. So, we have to learn how to live with COVID. Now the physical touching, particularly kissing, sucking hand, touching your hugging persons is completely banned across the world. Namaskar has become the norm. So this is a slide. One director general of budget, he is like doing namaste to me since he knows that I am from India. Physical touch is almost prohibited across the world. So with this slide, I would like to stop here and maybe I think I'll give space for other participants to speak on. Maybe we can discuss on different issues. Yeah, thank you so much. Back to Dr. Decker.
Thank you, Dr. Misra. We are very much pleased that you have become able to break a number of myths that has grown among the people by going through various social medias. Thank you very much. And I would like to read a few comments from the participants and then a few questions to you. Participants has commented, one of the participants commented, interesting, nice presentation, very nice presentation, fact-based presentation, very informative presentation. One has written, Kundar Upasthapan, very valuable participation, excellent presentation, valuable lecture, very informative session, one of the most knowledgeable session, descriptive session, very comprehensive and informative session, fact-based presentation, insightful deliberation. These are some of the comments coming from the participants. Now I am forwarding a few questions asked by the participants regarding, I think these are also myths. You have to break these myths. First of all, one has asked what food item we should use to improve our immune system.
Thank you, Dr. Decker. In terms of food supplement, as I said, food having vitamin C, definitely. Food, exposing yourself to the sun to get sufficient vitamin D, and exercising yourself, So there is no specific food like turmeric, like ginger, like pepper, there are different, misconception. There are different myths in the social media. So you should not go ahead with that. For example, I have seen some videos how to gargle also with warm water. As I said, this is a thermolayable, what we call thermolayable virus, which can survive up to 70 degrees centigrade. So please don't go by these rumors. And please, if you have any confusion, go to WHO site. Everything is mentioned. There are lots of myths and misconceptions. That's why you should eat healthy. You should not remain empty stomach. Definitely, when you remain empty stomach, the possibility of getting infection is higher. Even while visiting anybody in ICU, whether it's COVID related or non-COVID related, I know that COVID related you can't visit, you are not allowed. So even in that case, you should not go empty stomach. Otherwise also, even if the patient is not, because the possibility of infection increases when you are empty stomach. So these are the basic things. I mean, otherwise you should just eat normally. Whatever you are eating, just eat normal food. Try to consume vitamin C. Try to consuming. If you need supplements, go for a vitamin having vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc. If you don't get a combination, you can just purchase them separately. Yeah, thank you so much. Back to Dr. Decker.
Thank you, Mr. Another question which is asked by Himasri Nath. She has asked that, is there any case of reinfection of COVID patient?
Thank you, Himasri. I mean, that's an interesting question, Initially, what happened, I have explained, I forgot to explain about the plasma theory. I think I explained that we don't have a statistically significant result from plasma theory therapy. So the basic assumption in plasma therapy is that when you develop, the resistance, the immune system for COVID by particular patient, and you insert the same plasma from that patient, who recovered from COVID, and you insert to another person, then you get, you also develop the immune systems. But that's not the fact, because I think almost 20-25 days back, WHO has come up with the findings that some people who were infected, they are again getting reinfected, even after recovering. So it's not like one infection, and that's why the people across the world are struggling with the treatment, particularly the clinical trials. They are struggling because the people are not developing. Even in the phase 3, I remember Oxford University, they were struggling with building the immune system permanently against the COVID. So the immune system, it's not become, permanently immune to the person. So even if you are infected, so be careful that you may get reinfected. It's a established fact. Thank you so much, Himasri.
There is another question that it is really a myth is spreading among the people of late in Assam, that is jackfruit, kothal, and kothal or guti, is the seed of jackfruit is preventive to coronavirus? One of them has asked that question also.
Yeah, thank you, Dekka. I mean, so as I have explained earlier, so there is no proven food as of now across world which can protect you from COVID. So definitely, kathal, I mean, jackfruit is very highly nutritious, I mean, in terms of protein, but it can't protect you from COVID. For example, you might have heard about the coronil. Here, I would like to mention what Baba Ramdev has come up with, what is called coronil, and he claimed that this is a treatment for COVID. But that's not the fact. I mean, and I heard that there are 100 ingredients in that. I'm not against Baba Ramdev, because for the first time from India, somebody is challenging the big multinationals from different countries. So I really praise his effort, and I see him he as a businessman, not as something else. So, but he said that 100 ingredients are there in that coronil, and you don't need 100 ingredients to kill a virus. That means you don't know what will kill this. You just put certain things, and you are doing marketing of this. So again, I am repeating the word that the seed of jackfruit won't heal you or won't protect you from coronavirus. Back to you, Dr. Decker.
Yes, another question is, you have already deliberated on that. Is the COVID-19 spread in the air?
Yeah, in my presentation, thank you, Dr. Deka, and thank you for raising this question. This is very essential. So initially, WHO came up with a statement. So you know that this is not an airborne disease, but now it's well proven that up to 10 minutes, up to 10 minutes, the virus can survive in the air. So entering any shopping mall, because when somebody sneeze or cough, in that case the virus may come out, in large number. Otherwise, if somebody is protecting himself or herself with a mask properly, in that case infecting other is not possible. So this is well proven that this is an airborne disease. That's why you need to be extra cautious when you enter a public place. Thank you so much. Back to you, Dr. Decker.
So we have not much questions now, because some of the questions you have already answered. For example, some has asked, is turmeric good? Is hot milk with turmeric good? Is there any, is green tea and pepper useful to prevent corona? I think you have already answered all these questions throughout your lecture. And I hope the participants will has heard your suggestions regarding food.
Excuse me, sir. Hello. Hello. Excuse me, sir. There are some questions in the chat box of Google Meet also.
Yes, you can ask now. Over to Nupam Palit.
Okay. Some questions have been asked by our participants in the Google Meet. One question is from Prasanto Bodo, sir, our colleague. The question is again on the basis of food, and the question is: did the different food habits is one of the major cause in the death rate of the different countries across the world?
Yeah, thank you for raising this one. As I have mentioned, age is one of the factors, but food habit definitely not. In Europe, the population is old, and that's one of the major causes why they died in large scale. In US also, but not in definitely Latin America. In Indian subcontinent, the problem is not about. I don't know how many of you have gone through the worldometer data. If you do just the basic analysis, then you will understand that India is one of the country with lowest rate of testing. Okay, so one of the country with lowest rate of testing. So European countries, America, even most of the countries. As I said, our development index, that is HDI, Human Development Index, is 129, and we are the second largest, second largest country in terms of population. So it's not the food habit, and I don't know. If you follow the international news, then you will understand. WHO has been complaining about their about reporting from India. The people are not tested. Even people who are dying, I have many doctors from India who are my friends. I know that postmortem is not done. When somebody is dying in the ICU, they don't even care for testing. So the reporting has been a problem, has been a big issue. So I am sure more than double, people are dying every day in India, but we don't have the testing. It's not the food habit. Just when you raise the food habit, particularly the turmeric, in African country, people even don't use turmeric. Most of the spice that we use in Africa, in Europe, people don't know. So only some people, sometimes they go in months, to taste Indian or Pakistani or some Gulf countries' food. It's completely different food habit, what, in African continent, what in European countries takes. So it's not the food habit, it's the reporting problem from India. That's one of the, and WHO has been complaining continuously. If you follow the WHO website, you will understand the problem. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, sir. The next question is from Donali Talukdar, Guwahati University. She is asking, thank you for your information, what do you think with the eruption of COVID, the world is going to introduce a new world order by emphasizing on local trends rather the international market? How China will react to this phenomenon as China being the stalwart of export? This is the question is related with the market.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, my favorite hobby is dealing with market. Sorry to say, but that's my favorite time pass. So I deal with markets. I look after from Nasdaq to Nikkei to Sensex. So that's my everyday business. How I pass my time. Yeah, in terms of world or economic order, definitely it's going to change. I mean, so after the collapse of USSR, the former Russia, in 1989, the world became unipolar. Before that, there was after after Second World War, the Cold War started. We had a bipolar world. Bipolar means one is Russia, the other one is like USA. So I'm sure most of you heard that USA has spoken like this. USA has said like this. So it's like there was bipolar world. So there was two powers. After 1989, it became unipolar. USA is the main player. Whatever they say is in the world at present, that's become the Bible. So that's a fact. But what happens recently? The Chinese are trying to become, the other pole of the world. They have captured, I don't know how many of you know about capturing land in Tajikistan, capturing land in Philippines, capturing, land in Pakistan. So most of these countries are, they are trying to capture not only in terms of land encroachment, like India, what they are trying to do, but in terms of economy, if you go to Australia, if you go to Europe, if you go to USA, almost 50 to 70% of the total products are from China. Even at present, whatever we are using, I'm sure that most of our participants are using, OnePlus, Redmi, Oppo, all these phones are from China. So economically, most of the countries are already dependent on China. So that's why USA is always challenging. I mean, on a daily basis, they are challenging because the world is becoming bipolar, to a large extent. I mean, and that's why they dare to attack any country. It's not only, I just mentioned Philippines, Tajikistan, even in Bangladesh, they have their presence. In Brazil, they are like funding like anything. In most of the African countries, you won't believe all the big shopping malls and whatever structure you see from the flight. Okay, we have almost 56 countries in African continent, and almost all countries, whatever structure you see are made, constructed by China. So that's the economic order at present. So you can imagine what will happen in future. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Dr. Misra. Now we are on the fag end of the webinar, and I would like to thank you for your valuable deliberation. We know you are very much busy. You are engaged in such a huge organization and in such a time of pandemic. So on behalf of Rangapara College, I thank you very much. I would also like to thank all the participants who has spent this valuable 1.5 hours with us as a listen patiently to Dr. Misra. I would like to thank Dr. Saru Sohrianath, ma'am, for inaugurating this webinar, and Dr. Ranjan Kolita for his welcome address. At last, but not the least, I'd like to thank all the students who have participated in this webinar, and I'm sure this webinar will be able to create a lot of myths that has been spread among the common people. So thank you once again, Dr. Misra. Hope in future also we'll get your advice, your cooperation in different matters. We'll surely contact you. Thank you once again.
Excuse me, sir. Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Uh, our feedback link has been opened. Kindly fill the feedback form. I request all the participants to fill the feedback form, and the link will be remained open for the next 15 minutes. And the participants who will fill this feedback form, they will get the certificates. And please be careful while filling this form, because the name and the name of your institution will be appeared in your certificates. Thank you very much. Kindly fill this feedback form carefully.
So with this, once again, thanking Dr. Misra and Dr. Saraswati and Nath and all the participants. This session is declared final. Thank you. Thank you very much.